A pleasant afternoon to all. We will be witnessing a debate with the most crucial issue, not only in the Philippines, but throughout the world. Legalization of same-sex marriage. On this side, we have the proposition team. And on the other side, we have the opposition team. We are so glad to have our teachers as our judges for this debate. We also have here two pupils who will be served as our keeper or timekeeper and moderator. Now for our rules. Be polite and courteous. Listen attentively. Be respectful and supportive of peers. Avoid inappropriate noises. Speak only when recognized by the moderator. Allow others to express their opinions. Do not monopolize the debate. Use grammatically correct language. Speak clearly, slowly, and loud enough to be heard by audience. Speak with passion and excitement. For our time, speech of both team. Its speaker is given 2 minutes. For the rebuttal, each speaker is given 2 minutes. And for the closing statements for both sides, each team is given 2 minutes. You will hear a ring when your time is up. So be sensitive with your time. I will now give the time to our moderator to start with our debate. To all of you, good luck.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic for this debate is legalization of same-sex marriage in the Philippines. Same-sex marriage is marriage between people of the same sex, either as a secular civil ceremony or in a religious setting. In the 20th century, religious rites of marriage without legal recognition became increasingly common. The first law providing for marriage of people of the same sex in modern time was enacted in 2001 in the Netherlands. As of 16 November 2015, 14 countries allow same-sex couples to marry. A similar law in Finland is not yet in force. Polls show rising support for legally recognizing same-sex marriage in the Americas, Australia, and most of Europe. However, as of 2015, South Africa is the only African country where same-sex marriage recognized, and although no country in Asia has officially recognized same-sex marriage, the Supreme Court of Israel ruled that Israel accept same-sex marriages performed overseas. Now, we will hear speeches from two opposing teams, starting with the proposition group.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the first speaker of an affirmative team, and our first point in legalizing the same-sex marriage is about biblical. A Christian can come at the issue of gay marriage from several different directions. The sympathetic to a person, Christian or not, who is an integral, loving part of the world, gay marriage almost makes sense. God is the God of love, people say. If two people love each other, they should be allowed to show it. It's especially difficult when circumstantial evidence brought about by personal observation seems to contradict the Bible. In other words, we want our friends to be happy. Marriage defined by the web is the state of being a married couple voluntarily joined for life. They are specification for it being 100% heterosexual. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. Our second point is about human's perspective. The fact is that many gay couples raise children adopted and occasionally their own from failed attempts at heterosexual marriage. Lots and lots for scientific studies have showed that the outcomes of the children raised in the homes of the gay and lesbian couples are just as good as those of straight couples. The difference have been shown again and again to be insignificant. Psychologists tell us that what makes the difference is the love of the parents, not their gender. The studies are very clear about that as fully as anyone else. Thank you.
Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Our third point about same-sex marriage is provide economic and business opportunities. The legalization of same-sex marriage in other countries has long been seen to provide an economic boost. Wedding planning is one of the best businesses out there that is on continuous rise. Small wedding planning and reception companies in the city can double their customers if same-sex marriage is legalized. Reports said that the state of New York made 260 million in economic boost following the legalization of same-sex marriage. Good afternoon, everyone. Our fourth point is about fear recruitment. The fear recruitment is baseless because it is based on a false premise that gay people recruit. We don't. We don't recruit because we know from our own experience that sexual orientation is inborn and can't be changed to any significant degree. Indeed, the attempts of psychologists, counselors, and religious therapy and support groups to change sexual orientation have all uniformly met with failure. That studies that have been done of the therapies have never shown any significant result, and they are uniformly condemned by mental health professional association. So the notion of someone can be changed from straight to gay is quite unlikely. Yet there remains the deep, dark fear that somehow someone might be. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our fifth point about same-sex marriage is promote family stability. This generation's children represent the Philippines' future, and it is the country's best interest to support their development, regardless of whom they are parented by. The denial of same-sex marriage could affect badly to children raised by same-sex couples. They can always be discriminated and bullied by other children because of their same-sex parents. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am talking about our last and sixth point. Promotes true freedom of religion. I believe everyone should be able to do what they want. One day, all of this protesting against gay marriage will look just as horrible as protesting against segregation. Law should not be based on religion. Freedom of religions allow a person or group to pursue the practice of her own religion without government of dominant church interference. The most fair and ethical approach which treats all people equally regardless and religious affiliation is to the factor or religious point of view when crafting marriage law within a circular context. There are other hundreds of benefits a married gay can enjoy, like employee benefits, paternal, maternal leave, family insurance, real estate sharing. On the other hand, there is no benefits it not legalizing the same-sex marriage in the Catholic Church, not dominant religion in the country, is the number one opponent of same-sex marriage while always failing to contain its eternal problem, child abuse among Catholic priests, has been a hot topic without any solid preventive measure from Vatican. The same with pregnancy on nuns. Same-sex marriage in the Philippines should be legalized from the good of all. There is no sensible reason why this law will not be passed.
Now let's hear the opposition.
Again, good afternoon, everyone. I am the first speaker of negative team. Our first point is about biblically, same-sex marriage is sin, based on 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9 to 10, an English Standard Version. Or do you not know that the unrighteous will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived. Neither the sexual immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor men who practice homosexuality, nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our second point is about ruined family values. Allowing same-sex marriage will contribute to the breakdown of family unit in society. The end results will be more single parents, families, and more instabilities in the lives of children.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our third point in opposing the same-sex marriage is what makes marriage what it is, what makes marriage special so that it should only be obtained by man and woman together. Procreation. Normally, the argument in support of gay marriage goes along the lines of they really love each other so they should get married. If marriage was about the emotional connection, then why wouldn't the two people simply stay as a non-marital couple? There is no point in recognizing relationship that is only out in love. Obviously, only man and woman can procreate. Without procreation, a society could not continue to live. A reason that man and woman get marriage benefits is because they are doing society a favor by procreating and allowing the society to live. This is something homosexuals cannot do. Procreation and the proper raising of children is at the base of marriage. It is the main reason marriage exists. The fixed and traditional view marriage, which is between man and woman. Gay marriage gives absolutely no value to society at all as a whole, because at the heart of the marriage is also the proper raising of children. Infertile heterosexual couples can and should also be able to get married. Even though they cannot procreate, they can adopt and raise children for society. Therefore, they still provide society benefits. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking with our fourth point is about the opposing same-sex marriage. The fourth point is Philippines is a Christian country bounded by culture and tradition. In general, Western culture considers marriage as an exclusive for permanent bond between male and female. Though this is the most common notion of what marriage is, it varies from culture to culture. In the Philippines being conquered by countries in the West, we follow the same pattern of marrying as that of European or American way of marriage. For so long, we have observed and preserved the moral standard that marriage is between a male and female. This, this culture of marrying only between a male and female has caused definition and perception of marriage. I, as Filipino, upon hearing the word marriage, form in my mind an exclusive sexual relationship between man and woman. Hence, the concept of marriage between same-sex alters our cultural perspective, which was for in time. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our fifth point is about same-sex marriage is against of Constitution. According to the revised Philippines Constitution of 1987, marriage as an inviolable social institution, the foundation of the family, and shall be protected by the state. Article 15, Section 2. One of the process of family in the society to produce citizen who will continue the existential expression is given to parties who are important or incapable of bearing and shall do some circumstances. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our last point, as we disagree to the same-sex marriage, is against the Code of the Philippines. The Family Code of the Philippines tell us that marriage is a special contract, a permanent union between a man and a woman entered into accordance with law for the establishment of conjugal family life. Title 1, Chapter 1, Article 1. And an emphasis shall be given in the words, between a man and a woman, just this phrase tell us the same-sex marriage is and shall not be made legal in our country. Being homosexual is one of the grounds or conditions of legal separation. Family Code of the Philippines. Title 2, Article 55, Paragraph 6. Hence, one cannot marry his own sex type.
We will now start with our rebuttal. If you wish to speak, raise your hand, but remember, you are only given a chance to speak twice. We will start with the opposing team.
Figure it out, speaker number one. Contributing to the belief that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah may be more fable than fact is the predominance of similar tales from folklore. After close study of the Sodom and Gomorrah story in Genesis, many scholars have come to doubt its true intent was to condemn sexual deviance. You never would have read such a foolish statement years back when everyone knew that God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. In the modern apostate condition of the church, it is not surprising that professed theologians would try to condone homosexuality with the Bible. Of course, this is not true Christian, but rather imposters. The New International Version of the Bible completely removes the word sodomite from the Bible. It shouldn't come as a surprise that at least two of the literary critics of the review board of the NIV were openly homosexual, including the chairman of the Old Testament Committee, Dr. Martin Woodstruck. Should it be surprising to us that a homosexual would want to attack the truthful account of Sodom and Gomorrah in an attempt to lessen the evils of homosexuality? Not at all. For this is how Satan deceitfully works. Yet, unbelievably, most believers today proudly display
Their NIV perverted Bibles for everyone to see.
Is that so? Well, I do not believe in the statement of speaker number 6. So, what can you say about this, speaker number 6? There is no evidence to indicate that same-sex couples are poorer parents than heterosexual couples. In addition, marriage will make families headed by homosexual couples more stable, not less so, and will have no impact on the parenting abilities of heterosexual couples. If things that weaken the family unit in society must be illegal, then divorce should be same token be illegal, and it's not.
Yes.
What can you say about this, speaker number 6? Because your fight has not been with flesh and blood, but with principalities and the rules and the power of this dark world, and with wicked spirits which are under heaven.
Yes. I think it's time for us to make amendments with our constitution because according to the experiment made of legalizing same-sex marriage in other countries made terrifying result. A survey conducted at the time revealed that 72% of Danish clergy were opposed to the law. It was passed anyway, and the change that 89% of the Danish clergy now admit that the law is a good one and has had many benefits effect including reduction in suicide, a reduction in the spread sexually transmitted disease in the promiscuity and identity infinitely more among gays. So perhaps we should accept the fact that someone else had already done the experiment and accept the result as positive. Does this experiment sound bad? Personally, not at all. Go same-sex marriage. Thank you. You guys.
What can you say, speaker number 5? Republic Act number 10627 and the Act requiring all elementary and secondary school to adopt policies to prevent and address the act of bullying in their institution.
Yes.
I do not believe speaker number 4 because that's one's contradictory right on the face of it. Treating marriage by allowing people to marry, that doesn't sound very logical to me. If you allow gay people to marry each other, you no longer encourage them to marry people to whom they feel little attraction, when whom they most often cannot relate sexually, and thereby reduce the number of supposed heterosexual marriage that end up in the divorce courts. If it is the institution of heterosexual marriage that worries you, then consider that no one would require you or anyone else to participate in a gay marriage. So you would have freedom to choice of choosing what kind of marriage to participate in, something more than what you have now known. And speaking of divorce, to argue that the institution of marriage is worth preserving at the cost of requiring involuntary participants to remain in it's a better argument for tightening divorce laws than prescribing gay marriage.
Yes.
I do not believe in statements of the fourth speaker because the fear of recruitment, we cannot throw away the chance that by tolerating same-sex marriage, it will be abused by every person. We will be amazed to its effect. For one day, not even gay to man, nor lesbian, no woman will marry, but even true man to man, woman to woman will marry. And if there happens, it's a very immoral thing. That's all.
Yes.
Is that so? Well, what can you say about this speaker number 3? Not all couples procreate, some by choice and other because they are infertile. Nobody argues that infertile couples should not be allowed to marry, and, and same-sex couples may adopt a child to build a family of their own, just like infertile heterosexual couples. The fact is that many gay couples raise children, adopted and occasionally their own from failed attempts at heterosexual marriages. Lots and lots of scientific studies have shown that the outcomes of the children raised in the homes of gay and lesbian couples are just as good as those of straight couples. The difference have been shown again and again to be insignificant. Psychologists tell us that what makes a difference is the love of parents, not their gender. The studies are very clear about that, and gay people are as capable of loving children as fully as anyone. That's all.
Yes. Well, what can you say about this? And this is for you, speaker number 3. What's the use of Anti-Bullying Act? It surely caters the safeguard of all children, especially those children of homosexual being bullied. The fact is this: homosexually behaving adults inherently suffer significantly and substantially higher rates of partner relationship breakup, psychological disorder, suicidal ideation, suicidal attempt, completed suicide, conduct disorder, and substance abuse. Therefore, as a group, households with a residents homosexually behaving adults are substantially less capable for providing the best psychologically stable and secure home environment needed by foster children. A study taken from the Journal of Human Sexuality concludes the following. The presence of a father reduces the chances that the child will participate in criminal activities and reduce the chances that child will take drugs. Lesbian mothers make children more sexually active. Fathers help the child stay chaste. Boys need fathers to help form sexual identities and need mother in order to interact with the opposite sex. People have the best sex lives when raised by heterosexual parents. Fathers help children with interaction among the other people. When going through puberty, the father teaches the son how to be assertive and to be a man. Thank you.
Yes.
Is that so? Well, what can you say about this speaker number 2? Whose religion? Many Christian denominations to be sure, and definitely most branches of Islam and Orthodox Judaism. But outside those, most religions are unopposed to gay marriage, and many actually favor it. When the Mormon Church arrogantly claimed to represent all religions in the Bear versus Lewin Trail in Hawaii, the principal bodies stick in the state made it very clear that the Mormon Church did not represent them and made it very clear that they support the right of gay couples to marry. The particular body's sect claims to offer religious freedom to the use of the power of the state to
forced private religious sensibilities is an affront to all who would claim the right to worship according to the dictates of their own conscience. Thank you.
Yes. Well, what can you say about this, speaker number 2? Yes, many countries is allowing same-sex marriage, but it is doesn't not mean that Filipinos should follow the trend. And yes, marriage is sacred because it is one of the sacraments, and it is for a man and a woman, not man to man or woman to woman. Same-sex marriage is contrary to natural law. I agree that love is the most important thing in marriage, but there are so many things to be considered. In the Philippines, most of people are Christians, so most of them married in the churches. And it's also been part of the Filipino tradition. How can they produce a child for their own? Marriage is ended sacred, that even I cannot deny. But these homosexual couples can produce children. Instead, adopt innocent children. Marriage is indeed sacred, but between two different genders, look at the articles. They all say that the same things, wife and husband, not husband and husband. That would be really screw up if it did say husband and husband. You might say that there might be overpopulation, but there is hardly an excuse.
Yes.
Speaker number 2, your point is same-sex marriage will ruin the family. Ruin the family? How about Deuteronomy 25, 5 to 10? Try to look out the family here. When brothers reside together and one of them dies and had no son, the wife of the deceased shall not be married outside of the family to a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her, make her in marriage and performing the duty of a husband's brother to her. And the firstborn whom she bears shall succeed to the name of the deceased brother, so that his name may not be blotted out of Israel. If the Bible is sacred and inviolate when it comes to the institution of marriage, then the above passage and all the other inconvenient ones require reverence too. Do they not? If the Christian is going to say, well, that's all quaint and should no longer be expected to apply, well, then that's exactly the point. Thank you.
After, after hearing what each group has deliberated, we would like to ask from our audience as to what side of the group you have your thumbs up. Who among from the group agrees with same-sex marriage and want it to be legalized all over the globe soon? Please raise your index card that bears the affirmative sign. Put it down. Please raise your index card that bears the negative sign. Thank you for your cooperation. We will now hear the closing statement or reflection from each group. We'll start with the preposition group.
In behalf of the proposition team, though we have sufficient laws and ordinances that tells us the condition of marrying, this does mean that same-sex marriage will not be legal in the distant future. These laws are just made by the lawyers during certain times in order to address the national need. Who knows, we may have some unconstitutional lawmakers in the coming generations and may pass the bill legalizing same-sex marriage in the Philippines. Thank you, and once again, good afternoon. We, the opposition team, this is what we can only say to you. If you really love someone, you'll tell them the truth. God, our Savior, who will have all men to be saved and to come unto the knowledge of the truth. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verses 3 and 4. Thank you and good afternoon.
Our debate has ended now. It's up for our listeners or viewers as to what side they are convinced and believe to be right. Thank you and good afternoon.